It's time for another Lion Vision update with UNA baseball coach Mike Keene. Coach King's baseball Lions are coming off of a big Gulf South Conference weekend, taking 2 out of 3 from the Lee Flames. And, Coach, it really started in Game 1, a great matchup between two of the top pitchers in the conference. And Tyler Joyner, again, almost a complete game, 8 2/3 innings. He struck out 10, and just week after week, it seems like we're kicking these things off talking about Mr. Joyner.
Yeah, he had I thought that was one of his better stuff days, and he just didn't quite be able to finish it out, which he's been doing so much for us all year long. But we needed that out of him because the Vidrio kid, we knew his numbers coming in, and that was actually after talking to the games. Coach Hancock was talking to their pitching guy, and they said that's the best he's pitched all year long. So it was kind of the matchup and kind of the game. You thought, well, this is probably going to be a game that's runs are going to be tough to come by, and it really was. And you looked up, in 7 innings, no one's even scored, and then fortunately we were able to get to their closer, who's basically been unhittable, and so we did a great job getting to him and getting that first game.
We dropped Game 2 of the doubleheader on Sunday to set up a winner-take-all series, I guess, on Monday, and that's when Lee against Devin Traglia scored 1 run in the first inning, and Traglia settled down, pitched a great ball game, and the bats got going, and everybody in the lineup had 1 hit.
It was, I think the challenge was, and I was really pleased with the way we handled it, because whenever you do time switches, it's almost more difficult at home because you're responsible for the tarp, for the field, to get it moving. Obviously, there was potentially having to go classes on Monday. Then we switched to go to an early start time. So you never know how they're going to respond. But I thought our guys did a great job, and Devin Traglia pitched extremely well. He kind of, once he settled in, really dominated throughout most of the game. And then our offense, like I said, we talked a little bit. They were struggling, their pitchers, and we allowed them, and we took advantage. And I think the bases loaded single that knocked in 2 runs by Kyle Hubbock really kind of exploded after that. And then we were taking advantage of a lot of mistakes and really had a good day at the plate up and down the lineup.
Let's talk about where this team is for just 1 second. We're sitting first place in the Gulf South Conference standings right now. A big weekend series coming up against West Alabama. More on that in just a second. But we've won every conference series that we've played so far. We swept West Georgia, took 2 out of 3 against Shorter, West Florida, and now Lee. So these early season conference wins, it's really setting us up for what's going to be a tough stretch that we're right in the middle of right now. But if we can keep this up, we're in great position.
Well, it's still a long ways to go, and obviously we're pleased with where we're at. I thought we've been playing, fairly well, especially on the mound. We pitched it, and that's what we hope we'll continue to do. Offense goes up and down. Sometimes your offense is not clicking. Sometimes the teams you're playing kind of dictate that, which is this weekend. They had a good pitching staff, so we knew it, but we were able to come out with 2 wins, and we got to just continue to play well. And every weekend, like you said, in this conference, you can okay, well, we got through this one. Then you go, okay, well, now we got West Alabama. So which weekend is not going to be a challenge? There just isn't any. So we got to kind of regroup, get ourselves ready for a very talented West Alabama team, and hopefully we'll continue to play well and see what happens.
Let's talk about Kyle Hubbock for a moment, Coach. He's played first base for the first 2 years of his career. He's moved over to third base now, swapping corner infield positions, but his bat's hot, hitting well over .430 on the season. What's been the biggest difference between this year and last year for Hubbock?
I think every year when you get a guy that's a freshman, obviously a talented offensive freshman, there's always going to be growing pains and adjustments that you need to make. And I think that's what Kyle has really made the adjustments from last year to this year. He's much more patient. He doesn't chase as many balls out of the zone. He waits for pitches in his zone. And he's also using the whole field. And by doing that, he's a much tougher out. And you see how strong he is when he does barrel the ball. And he just accelerates quicker than a lot of guys. So more times he can get the barrel on the ball has a chance to get through. But I think that's what his biggest change is, using the whole field. But he's walked a whole lot more this year than he did the previous year.
Up next for the Lions, a midweek matchup against Montevallo on Wednesday. And then, Coach, a humongous Gulf South Conference weekend series against West Alabama, a 1 versus 2 matchup. UNA 9-3 in the conference standings right now, sitting in first place. West Alabama 8-4 in second place. So Montevallo, West Alabama, this is going to be a tough week for your team.
Right, and the midweek games, Montevallo obviously is a very talented offensive team. I know they've been struggling on the mound, but they're probably going to throw a lot of pitchers on that day, and as we are too. So, the midweek games are always kind of a challenge to see how much are you into the game, how focused are you, and try to clean it up. So hopefully we'll go down there and play well and then propel us into the weekend, which we know is going to be a big challenge because West Alabama's good. I didn't realize they'd moved in second. I did realize I think they swept Christian Brothers this weekend to push right up at the top. But they know been very successful over the last several years. We know they're going to be a big challenge for us, and we know we got to play well again to come out with a series win.
I haven't looked at the weather yet, but I think it's supposed to be pretty nice this weekend. The series starts off Saturday, a doubleheader starting at 1 p.m. Sunday's finale also at 1 p.m. Get out and support the Lions at Mike Lane Field as we take on West Alabama this weekend in a pivotal Gulf South Conference weekend matchup.